There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of Furness TV. Now, I'm by myself, except for one person who's in the background.
Hi.
Haha. Yeah, my mom. Last week, Mom and I discussed my elementary school year. This week, it's one topic, but stretched out to multiple ways. I'm talking about my high school year. I started high school back in 07, wait.
Something like that. I know you were done in 12.
No. I was done in 14. I was done when I was turned. Who knows? It's too confusing. I don't. But all I know is I was done. But now I'm in high school, and high school is pretty good. This time I only went to one. Montcalm Secondary School. Now before I went to high school, in grade 8 I had a tour of Montcalm. A friend of mine who I met when I was in grade 7, Eric Marsh, was a student there, and became my tour guide. And I got a chance to go there and see what the school was like. But one thing that got my eye when we got into studio production class, otherwise known as MCTV, which at the time was doing announcements that way. Yeah, studio, camera, switcher, everything was really cool. We learned about ESG, yeah. When I first handled the camera, was trying out, I fell in love. That's how I got into the broadcasting world. Grade 9 started out pretty interesting. Pretty much I started out not knowing anyone except for Aaron Marsh. I met, before school, even when we got the schedule, I met a woman named Jennifer Dowler and Stephanie, I think. Yeah. We became good friends. And we got along. Now, grade 9 was very interesting. Again, besides Eric Marsh and Jennifer Dowler when I first came, I didn't know anybody else. So I had to figure out who to be part of. Now, one of the main reasons why I went to Montcalm wasn't just because of the great program, it's because of the hearing impairment program. Oh boy. Sorry, I had some more. But meanwhile, that happened, and boy, was that an interesting experience. Had advantages, had the disadvantages. And we're not interested to the Here Together conference. Oh, nothing like missing a full day of class to have fun. That was great. That was Fleetway. Really good experience. But the course I had, but let's get back down to school. In grade 9, knew a lot of stuff. There were good teachers, but the thing that got me the most was the one event I was really excited about, and that was the Cruise campaign. Now, remember the Cruise campaign, Mom?
Oh, yes. I remember when I was in high school having that.
Oh, you did it in high school? You had to...
Oh, yeah, we did it back then.
Yeah, the idea of it was it was a way to raise donations to food banks, be canned, goods, non-perishable food items, and of course money. Now, that was a really fun event. But the one thing I can't skip one moment. But one thing I learned in grade 9 called ENG EFP. I got a chance to go to dances for free. One dance for free. We got doing ENG for Memorial had to go on the studio to actually do one of now him where it was quite fun. First case of doing that. Quite black. Very interesting. The great thing about the MCTV course was an open court. I mean, they were cleavable from grade 9, grade 10, I think even grade 11, grade 12 were all part of it. This thing is crazy part. It was an O course. What? Sorry. It was an O course, which means open. The course that was some of the codes were like it was a C college course, a U university, M was like a mix, like you go either way. Then there was another one academic and then applied, academics and then one other thing.
Applied.
Yeah, and then academic course thing.
Just talk.
Sorry. And so that happened. And Rain, the only course I took an academic course was the French course. Actually pretty good actually. But right back down to it, it was getting quite good. Starting to know people, and then I started to get along with a group of people from the hearing impaired classmates from there. Met with Eric Marsh again. We started becoming good friends, keep our friendship, and we started building up down at the stairwell right near the auditorium, on the second floor, right across from the hearing impaired class. And we had my lunch there. That was the slow start of that group. Jennifer Dollar showed up too. That was quite fun. Glad. And of course, the cruise campaign. And there was one teacher I did not like. The wonderful teacher from the hearing impaired class I had. Not Miss Redden, the other one, very snobbish. Didn't like her at all. I would get my little bit of quote unquote revenge in a polite way when I bought her as a teacher during a cruise campaign. It was the same when you actually buy teachers with candidation goods, and then they have to do things for you. They buy your lunch, they do your homework. No joke. They can act goofy. It was the strangest thing ever. Going to math class and not having to do any work because my teacher what did. And the fun part was when you have other teachers, when you have people from my class at the G course having to come to our class with the teachers that they bought sometimes. That was quite fun. And maybe for some reason story. One of the big steps that I did was being hearing impaired. I wanted to step out of my comfort level back then too. I went over to I want to be part of hosting the announcement. But again, it was a struggle. You can't really do anything here and here and all that stuff. So I started slowly. I was the announcer going back to introducing the host. And I did really well for a week. And then I finally got the role. I was actually an announcer. By the way, when I was in high school, I met a guy named one student. I can't remember his name, but he ended up being my co-host. I was a co-host with him. It helped me better. I decided, even then, I decided to go one step further and have a wrestling belt on. I put it on while I was there. And I did really well. Now, according to my friend Jennifer Dowler, people in her classroom were focusing. When I was on, they listened. So I did really good. And apparently, hearing people in the hearing impaired resort, other ones, they oversaw me and thought I was a role model for doing that. So I did a good job doing that. It's really cool. The honor I was getting. So I knew everyone was out there. Then we get into the second. Now we get to the group campaign because like one other moment I met Miss Duffy. They all wanted a screw campaign event. It was a scavenger hunt. And I saw on the list of stuff WWF action figure. I'm thinking, well, that ain't right. Supposed to be WWE action figure. So I went over to Mr. Duffy, who was running this event, and I said, you got it wrong. This is WWE action. And that way, now and came a wrestling fan. Now, this would come into play in the second semester, as I would have gym class and other great. One of my biggest memories of grade 9 was going to my first wrestling event because of Mr. Duffy. Story goes is that during the event coming up to London with a televised show, SmackDown and ECW were doing a televised show in London. And Mr. Duffy going on me, you gotta go see it. This is pretty cool. I said, I can't because Mom won't tolerate it at the time. Didn't want to go. Can't go. I wish I could, but I can't. Then a couple days later, we go, oh, Mr. Behind, we had a contact with you, can get tickets. I'm like, you guys can get it? I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. I'd love to, I can't. But one day, this is when it all goes down. I'm in the classroom, in gym class. We're in the weight room. We're learning how to lift weights, train. And all of a sudden, Mr. Duffy shows up to see Mr. Nielsen. Mr. Nielsen was the teacher I had for gym. He's actually one of the coaches of Dean Warner, one of our former Malcolm alumni, who's done really good in Canada in the decathlon. Pretty cool. But Mr. Nielsen talked to Mr. Duffy and himself. Apparently, Mr. Duffy wanted me to come with him. So we go down, I follow him along, and we're talking about wrestling, and I love wrestling. We go down to the math office, where here comes Mr. Loney, who gives me ticket, who give me posters for the event, and 2 front row seats. Technically, we're right near stage to the wrestling event. Oh boy, was I excited. I was like, oh my God, it was the greatest thing ever. Now, Mom has to come. So Tuesday, May 6th comes up, and we're waiting in line. She has to go with me. She goes, okay.
Worst day of my life.
She goes, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna let you enjoy this. It'll be all fine. Well, by the end of the event, she goes, when's the next one come? That was the day my mom became a fan of wrestling. Yay! Yay! And that's why I'll never forget. In grade 10, what a weird year that was. Medway was moving, a school named Medway, secondary school, was getting a new building. So they had no choice but to change up with another school. They chose Montcalm. So now Montcalm was going to host our school and Medway. This rain year. Things had to change. So we got into it, and in the end result, Montcalm got the morning schedule. With me, we had to wake up early in the morning. But we get the majority of the afternoon off. Well, Medway got the afternoon. So they got right time to wake up, so they have enough time to sleep in, but they don't get enough time afterwards. So I'm into it, and this is where some of the good stuff, but some of the problems started happening. First, it was grade 10. I met a friend of mine named Eden. We met through the love of wrestling. How ironic! And we were friends, and it was during broadcast course, actually, MTV course, that we met. And we became friends ever since. And I met Ian, got Ian to meet with Jared Aller and Eric Mars, and he got her friend to come over. And that's what really the foundation of that group that we hanging out with in July lunchtime in the morning. It was great to have a group. That's the one thing I was lucky about my high school year. That I had a group I was part of. A group of friends that we were all together. And that's one of the blessings I ever had. My first major problem happened in the broadcast course. We had a different teacher who was a real pain in the ass. He was very discriminatory.
Yeah, he didn't think you could do anything because you were deaf.
Yeah.
Or already hearing.
Then in all of the year, I introduced a new program in the Boys and Girls Club in London called MAP, My Action Plan for Education. And through there to help tutors and all that stuff, and it was okay in the beginning. It was free, you know what I mean? I got a chance to go to Nike for free, thanks to them, but it was very rocky. I needed to get $1,000 of money for my education at the end of every term, every year. So grade 10, 11, 12, here, probably like $3,000 or $4,000 for education. That's good. But the next problem was the driver. This driver, I didn't take a bus to get a regular bus to get to mom's home. I had to take one of those stop rides. And this driver, and I cannot handle cigarette smoke. I'm sorry. I hate tobacco smoke, and I hate it. This driver, he may not be smoking in the car, but you sure wouldn't know it, because every time during the time I get in that car, it would reek of cigarette smoke. It was horrible condition. It was not, and it wasn't that friendly at all. I have problems with that. So we get through that, and that was pretty much one of the only major problems with grade 10. It wasn't until grade 11 that the real problems started. Grade 11 was a wild, interesting year. Then we got changes going on. We're back to normal, but there were some interesting situations that happened.
Yes. When did you start taking the bus to school?
Oh man, let's get right down to it. Right down to it, all the way back to the second half, the second semester, first week back. I see the old person I knew having the since I was a kid, Tristan Tubb. I knew him since elementary school. He was a bully then, and I thought he changed. Then good. The final day of the first week of semester 2, that's when, pardon the phrase, the shit hit the fan. Started off fine. The day was great here. Get back on the bus. We'll be on the car. That's when the problem happened. Tristan was in the back, and 9 o'clock, and I was by myself with another, I think with one more other people. I think it was by myself. And then it started happening. I started feeling bumped from the back of. Apparently, Tristan Tubb and no one was kicking the car.
He was basically terrorizing you in the bus.
Yeah, and they called him on my nickname, Bob Boy, was the old name by Alan. Sorry,
Alan.
What?
Uncle Alan.
Uncle Alan. Uncle Alan. And just tormenting me. Now, when the next one out, it wasn't bad at the time. My first meltdown, I blew up. The driver of the van was very rude about it, and he got into the whole thing in a way, and I was tormented. So when one guy left, I blew up, and it got worse. It was a nightmare, and by the time it all ended, and I got off the bus, I slammed that van door. I shouldn't have. But he called me, I go, I'm not apologizing. I was upset. I was tormented. It was horrifying.
I'm breaking in for a second here.
You breaking in?
I'm breaking in. See, the problem was he came back upstairs. Everyone in the building who was in our apartment building who was out about could hear him, and I could hear him, and he came flying in the apartment. He was bawling his brains out, major meltdown. When I found out what was going on, I went and complained to About Town, got nowhere. I complained to the school, got nowhere. And if you knew from last week, I don't tolerate that. So I ended up calling the head there, because I didn't want him on the bus anymore. I wanted him riding, and I wanted them to pay for the bus tickets, because we didn't plan this. he put me on the bus. And Montcalm School didn't want to do that, but they were forced to. That kind of put the jinx in their relationship, because from that point on, the principal at Montcalm didn't like me anymore because I was taking money from other things so that Robert could get to back home, school and back safely without being terrorized like that.
Apparently, I can't have a good ride. Can't get
Well, no, and so reluctantly, we were given bus tickets for the rest of that year. It ended in grade 11. In grade 11, we started paying for ourselves. That was fine.
No, grade 12 when I started paying for myself.
Was that grade 12?
Yeah, grade 11 when you didn't have it.
Oh, yeah, no.
There was another thing that happened.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say what happened particularly, but the fact was I got kicked out for something so horrible. And again, I was upset by it. I can't say what it was because it was a little embarrassing, per se. Let's just say it was just another teary eye going home once again. I couldn't even get in my locker. I had something in my locker. I couldn't even get anything out of my locker. I couldn't. They wouldn't let me do that. I had things in my locker that I had to get. So that would happen. Let's say it was frustrating. I had long enough. The greatest thing of all was the fact I had my friends who were able to be with me from the virus, and they were supportive. Now we go into grade 12. The first part. We at the ending situation. We had a student, Marissa, who was in that vehicle that happened, because it wasn't just Marissa was also on the bully too. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, maybe she should change. Then good, she joined the group and it seemed to go well. Then we get to the incident. Oh boy, here we go. I just found out a week before this I had been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. We finally found out why I was doing the thing that I was doing. When I found out I had Asperger's syndrome, I wasn't upset. I was like, now I know why. So we get into the day, Friday, and it was the last day of Scrooge campaign. Boy, that thing go up. And it seemed normal. I go up. Now, me and Marissa were off beforehand. I don't know why. Marissa was. So I'm going back to sitting with my lunch, and I'm ready to go. And then Marissa told me that apparently I can't sit there because apparently we have an internet. We cannot really be near each other. I had no clue of what's going on. So I go down to the principal's office because I'm like, what's going on here? Because I want to know what's going on. Why can't I sit there? And I see Mr. W. And there's that name again, that great teacher. I go up, we end up going up to take care of it. Now, there were witnesses around the area. And according to witnesses, one, my friend Adam, who told my friend Eden told me this later on. According after there was those double reasons, Marissa hit Mr. W in the back of the head, threatening his career, threatening a gun to school before storming off. Stop my foot! I'm like, hey! My friend Eric and Adam restraining her while I'm running for my life. And over her, I heard, I'm gonna kill you. I heard you. And it scared me. They had to call the police for it. They couldn't arrest her. I don't understand why she was doing it. Well, maybe because didn't take her pill. Personally, looking back, I think there was no excuse for why she was doing that at all.
Probably did.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with these things.
I know, but still, if anybody else would do it.
Anyway.
But I digress. However, she did get suspended. Now, there's a great weird thing that's happened after this whole incident happened. A wonderful system hit our city.
Oh, Lord.
Snowmageddon happened. This was a time when we had this big system more aimed directly at London and slowed down for so long it stopped everything. Now the ending the Monday thing they had on Monday where I didn't know school was closed, but I had to go to school early. I had to go to school. So I got down, I slipped the little thing, I got back up, got the bus, and I'm wondering what's going on. It was not normal. Just as I left,
just as he left, a little while later, I get we hear on the news that because of the weather, the schools are closed. So here's Robert going all the way to school, not knowing that schools are closed, and I'm sitting back thinking, this should be interesting when he comes home.
So I get to here on the highway, and I see a mountain load of snow, and then I'm thinking, no way I'm able to get across. I'm upset. I'm like, it's too hard. I'm scared of my life. I kicked the mug on, and it's closed. And I'm upset by this because I'm like, no, wait here. I get going, and I'm worried. And luckily enough, I caught, ended up being the last bus. To get home. I got home, little upset by it. I ended up going down to the dollar store, here. And then I go home, and what did Mom say?
Hi, we got t-shirts for this. Because, you see, his father had gone to school one time when he was, I think, probably grade 8. He gets to school to find out that the schools were closed, so he had to go home on the bus. And, of course, it was a major, major winter storm. And it wasn't so much a storm as I went to Beale and they had cut the power. Power got cut, and I didn't know because that's the one day I decided to a station in Toronto and not London, so I didn't hear the news. So I get to Beale and nobody's there, and the place is in the dark, and I'm trying to get to my locker in the dark, and then head home again. So yeah, we have t-shirts for that now.
Yep. Now, that happened on for 3 days. We're
They just wouldn't stop.
The city was closed for 3 days. Literally. So, I get back on Thursday, Friday, and it seemed normal. Now we get to the next Monday. And I go to class. Before I go to class, I had to go down to the principal's office, where I saw Marissa. In other words, she only suspended talent for a week. We were closed 2 days. Now here's a question for rhetorical question. Guess who had to move? Me. I had to move. Right now you stay where you want. But I had to move to the other side. And she could do it with a friend. And I couldn't be near her. And we couldn't be near each other. Now, this is after a while, 2 weeks after finding out I had Asperger's syndrome. And the one thing people with Asperger's have problem with, sudden changes for no reason. Or for stupid reasons, one thing, okay? That first day, that first lunch, I was mad. I was upset. I get bullied. I get beat up. I mean, I attacked my foot. And Marissa got away with it? A slap on the wrist, 2 days spending, and I had to move? Oh, I was not happy at all. That was a nightmare. Remember that?
Yep.
Oh. Luckily enough, Ian was able to be for good help, and every now and then he brought the group back to my side, helped me every now and then. But it was such a nightmare. And then it got worse. You got the wonderful vice principal. One day I was in class for this one class. It was a class on ancient history. And my principal wants to see me. He goes to me, he goes, maybe the people who are not hanging out with you, maybe they aren't really your friends. Let's just say I got emotional there too. Now this is where, now it would be a nightmare situation, and it would. But it would have been a lot worse if it weren't for one teacher who knew I was not in a good mood, in a good state of mind. Thankfully, this teacher saw something that I was not happy here, not able to focus, got me to his office to do an easier quiz, and calm down and able to get through it. Let me get through this. And I don't know how things would, what would happen if he didn't do it. I'm probably bawling my eyes out and embarrassed and being in more trouble. This teacher pretty much saved my day. It helped me so much. And I don't know how I can't, it's an amazing moment. I'll never forget it. That was incredible. So grade 12, the problem were really starting to really grow. Now we go in, now I had to do a second alternative year.
Yeah.
Till grade 13, pretty much.
Yeah, you just did one term with us for that.
Yeah, well, I would do two. I had for another incident.
Yeah.
But let's say right now in grade 12, they were slowly going back. But the memory of the year before was still in my head, including involving Marissa. As the days go by, I was able to be back to where I wanted to be. But I was still a little afraid of being near Marissa. My goal, but then I started something. I knew I had to get better. So I decided, I'm going to try it. You can get close near her without having any fear. And I did. But there's one fatal day in grade 13 where all the drama and all the ways it happened, and I just had enough. I started thinking to myself, I've had people tell me what I can and can't do. I don't care anymore what people think of me. People are critical of me all the time. You can't do this, you can't do that, all this. I know who I am. I'm going to bring them animal with me wherever I go, and you don't like it, that's your problem, not mine. That's when I started truly waking up and being myself, the real Robert, again, truly. Didn't care how much animal, did not worry. That was a life changer, and it's still important to me because that was the day that really changed my life for the better. Now I had a goal. Before my birthday, which I think I turned 18 that year.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I wanted to actually go one step further. I wanted to be able to talk to Marissa, have a conversation with Marissa. And you said, no way it was ever going to be possible. Some people didn't think it was possible. My friend, wait. Again, one fateful day, I go after class. I go down to gym. We go out to do Little Caesar. I get a pizza. Before I'm all the way there, I see Marissa. I was like, hi, Marissa. Goes hi back. I'm like, it's a good start. I get a pizza. I come back over to the group. I sit down, and we start talking. And Ian's like, Marissa, you're talking to Robert. She's like, yeah, whatever. That was when it happened. If there was any light into the dark, there was one teacher, Miss Carson, who I had to thank. And on my 18th birthday was a nightmare start.
Well, yeah.
But it ended up to be one of my favorite birthdays at the time. A really good birthday. Nothing like starting off and McCartney dubbing, I had to cry for you. And I ended up even doing an announcement the same way. It had a thing on top. And he goes, happy 18th birthday, Rob Furness, rolling on the screen. And I'm like, wait a second, my birthday. Everyone was glad me, like, happy birthday, all that. I came to find out it was Miss Garson who wanted that to happen. She gave me a gift. She gave me a SIM card for a birthday. I had to worry about my lunch, but the librarian gave me the free pizza that I had. She got free pizza thing. were great. I had a good birthday after all. It was incredible. But I gotta say, Mick Carson helped me big time. Now we get into the point to getting close to the end of my first term of the year of first semester, and that's when the final nail on the board hit. Again, I can't say why it happened, but I got kicked out not once, but twice in the same week in a row. And the ending was so horrible. And before I even get to class, they wanted me to do something else that was very offensive if you asked anyone else. But I got kicked out. It was not because I was physical. I never hurt anybody. Never did. It was so ridiculous reason why. That was the final draw. And when I get to finish the term, I don't know how, but I managed to get 50% on two of my courses, and I managed to pass my English course. I don't know how I did. That's a miracle.
Pure luck.
Pure luck, no kidding. Because in my final term, I find out I had everything I needed to graduate.
That was it.
But then the worst of all, one of the made me hurt to this day. I started changing in a bad way. I didn't want to go to school. The memory, the haunting of the getting kicked out, the bullying, and all that stuff, it drove me away. It finally broke me from learning. And I finally let Mom come without finishing the second term. All of a sudden I needed. I couldn't even go to my graduation ceremony because of what happened. It still affects me to this day every now and then, thinking that what could have been. That I could not go to my graduation because of what happened. It's heartbreaking. And
the ironic thing is here is that while he didn't get to go for his grade 12 graduation, and this year, thanks to the COVID situation, he couldn't go to his Fanshawe College graduation.
Now
That
was not nobody's fault.
No, that was nobody's fault, but it's pretty ironic.
The grade 12 one was definitely not my fault. It was definitely the school fault for the way they treated me. I never got bullied by anyone else besides me and Marissa. I got bullied by the system. The system that broke me. Anyone tell me, and it was during the first year of the Pledge to End Bullying rally campaign.
Yes.
When I thought, I still think from now on, it's still a hypocritical rally thing, the blatant one.
How long are you been on?
What?
What time? What time?
38 minutes.
Okay.
38 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry if I've been a long one, but I just couldn't help but playing a lot going on. But anyway, I got through it, and luckily enough, on the 50th anniversary of Montcalm, I managed to get back to the school, and I think after that, I finally found closure after all these years. I was able to explain that yes, I'm a Fanshawe student. I have my material out. No problem.
The best part is that you were, anytime that after that, when you did receive Marissa, you guys got along really well.
Every now and then, yeah, see Marissa, we got along. We're getting along. I mean, every now and then I see her. I mean, but I finally found closure when I got back to Montcalm, and I got to do hang out with Eden back in Montcalm. So at the end of it, I got the closure I wanted. I finally got the closure I needed. The 50th anniversary of Montcalm, and that means a lot more than anything else. But to get closure, finally, no. And see the teacher I haven't seen in a long time. Tell them that I'm now a Fanshawe student. Think about anything I can do it. I did. I could be wrong. I did. That was it for my history of high school. Boy, that got a lot out of me. And still getting emotional from that final moment. That really got me, that final moment. But overall, thank you so much for watching. Next week is my 20th episode. I can't wait. This is going to be really exciting. I'm actually going to look back at the first episode I did and redo those topics for now to do it to me. I look back. The same 3 topics I did in the first episode, I'll do in the 20th episode to celebrate this big milestone of mine. After all, this is Furness TV. And if you're new to this channel, please like, share, tweet, like, share, subscribe to share this video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you're new, you don't want to make new today, I got videos Sunday and Wednesday with game night. Coming up next on my channel, take away with her, what is the show?
And the show is My Life as I See It, with always some more light in this house. Blinded by the light, but I can see.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm over Furness with my mom over there, Troublemaker. I will see you Wednesday for game night and next week for episode 20th episode. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.